thinks you can just do this and not need to internalize, not need to talk it out, is making a mistake. This needs to be talked out, the experience. And even when we got him a special pedicure last time, because his feet were so smashed from months of being in army boots, same socks, same everything, and the land there, everything's broken. Like it's so his feet needed a pedicure just to be functional. And I mean, it was some were worse, but he's more hygienic, so he looks after it better than others, Baruch Hashem. But the woman said that she's divorced because her husband was from another war in Israel, and the trauma he came back from, their marriage didn't work from it. And even with therapy, it was still too much. Yeah. So she was like, you got to make sure you heal, like emotionally.
Yeah. So also, it's like, like a lot of what they say is like, a lot of the post-traumatic things don't come up for, it takes time to settle in the brain, and so it's healthy to
she spent the other day
proactively approach these things.
I was telling Isaac last night, he spent the other day just literally just looking on the phone and seeing what we've been seeing over 4.5 months. He hasn't had access.
Right, he hasn't seen all of it.
And he's seeing like the hostages, he's seeing the ones who've been freed, he's seeing the parents, the families. And all it did was just say, like, I want to go back in and get these guys. I'm like, that's where his head is. Like, we didn't finish the job. We got to go. That's where Baruch Yitzhak is. Baruch Yitzhak Masha should be Matzliach. He's going back on Sunday. Mr. Hashem. So we're going to learn Shekalim, and we're going to learn Vayakhel. And we're going to get some chizuk from the Torah Kadosh, because as much as we could talk about the war, one of the things that helps the soldiers is our learning. So, I'm sorry I was a few minutes late, but you did tell me it might be late anyway because of the shir before.
I'm here.
Vayakhel Moshe. Taf Reish Lamed Vav. Or we should do Shekalim first. Let's do Vayakhel.
Right.
Yeah, the order is Vayakhel and then Shekalim. That makes sense. It's just in the Sfas Emmes, it's the other way around, because Shekalim is usually earlier in the year.
Right, usually it's
because it's the Ibo year. Adar Rishon, Adar Sheini. So Vayakhel Moshe, you go, lead the way.
So the Parshat begins, and Moshe gathered the people together. The beginning of the Parshat is speaking about these are the things you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do, and you're supposed to do it during 6 days, and then not on 7. Hikdim zeh mishkan ki melechet hamishkan hu bekoach hakila va'az ne'emar v'shechanti b'tocham k'ma shekatuv b'midrash b'tocho lo na'amar ela b'tocham. Ayin Sham. Is that Ayin Sham?
Yeah, so ki is when it says
Al Shich Truma. Al Shich Truma, is it Al Shich? Is it a
yes, so B'tocham Ayin Sham, but Al Shich. Al Shich is a holy sefer. He was a big rabbi in Sfas. Usually when we want to know about rabbis, just ask Isaac, He knows all the history. But Al Shich was based in Sfas. He's a famous Mefarish on I think on Tanakh and other things. We have L'chadodi from him. Al-Shlich was of Shlomo Alkabetz. Isaac, is that correct? Shlomo Alkabetz was the Al-Shlich? Same person? The one who's Mechaber the L'chadodi? Not the same person? Yeah. Maybe it's not the same person, but they were definitely at the same time. They were both in Sfat together by the Arizal. So it was that time to Kufa.
Okay, fine.
There's a big Mefarish.
So he says, meaning there are two big mitzvahs that we're going to learn. We're going to learn in this parsha. He brings out the mitzvah of Shabbos and the mitzvahs of the Mishkan.
Very good.
So he says, Mishkan, so meaning the Shabbos comes before the Mishkan.
Yes.
Why? Because this work of the Mishkan is via the koach of the community, the gathering together. And therefore he says, use this language of, and they will dwell, when Hashem speaks about the Mishkan, he says, Vasili Mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham, right?
Yes, and that's Parshas Truma. That's what it meant by Ayin Sham Ba'al Shech Truma, because that's where it brings the pasuk Shanti B'Socham.
Right, so he says that like I will dwell amongst you.
Yes,
right.
It's B'Socham is like within you.
Or within you.
Yeah, it's even more because it's even more personal in a way. It's B'Tok Kol Echad. Everyone gets the opportunity for Shem to dwell within us through the Mishkan. Right. Ideally, the Kehila should have been literally within every one of us, but it ended up centralized in the Mishkan.
It says in the Midrash, "Betocho lo nemar." Right, the Midrash famously comments, or I guess has a drush on this idea. It doesn't say "Betocho v'suli mikdash v'shekanti betocho lo nemar ela betocham."
Like you said, yeah.
It says within.
Within them, like plural.
So if you want to see the full drasha there, go look at the Ashlich in Parshat Vayakhel. Ukehila zu hu inyan haShabbat. So he says this gathering, it's referring to the matter of Shabbos, meaning it's referring to the subject of Shabbos. Meaning Vayakhel Moshe is referring to
the fact that it goes on to Sheishas Yom and V'chulu and talk about Shabbos. Yeah, it means there's a connection between the Kehila and Shabbos.
Ubezeh she'agid lahem haShabbat bezeh chil otam.
Yeah.
Right, so he says that in this she'agid lahem haShabbat.
So Hashem's saying to Moshe to
tells them about the
Shabbos.
Bezeh chil otam, and in this manner he is gathering them. Meaning Kehila, I guess, is the active form of
gathering. Yeah.
So it's like he's actively gathering them by telling them about Shabbat. And
Shabbat gathers them. Right. That's the connection. Shabbos is a playtime of gathering, like we have over here. Shirat David v'chule. We come together every Shabbos in the Beis Midrash as a Kehila.
Gam nifrash ela hadvarim al Kehila, and he also explains these matters. Ela Kehila, meaning Ela Dvarim is what the pasuk says, right? Vayakam Moshe v'chule Ela Dvarim Asher Tzivah Hashem. So he's saying that Gam Nifrash, he explained Ela Dvarim al HaKehila. I guess all usually means on or to, but here I guess it might mean like after they had gathered.
Gam Nifrash, he explains in these words al HaKehila. On the gathering, Zeh Siva Hashem shekihilu atzmam. That Hashem commanded to
you don't have a period
gather
after Kehila?
Yeah, there is a period, but it does. But there is a continuation. That we said al Kehila. Yeah, these words on the Kehila
is that they should gather themselves.
Yes.
Gamze hu inyan? No.
V'chein zeh
hu inyan echad shehu hit romemut kol Yisrael shegorem hashrat hashchina shikraehu hazal knesset Yisrael. He says, and this is also the matter. Echad, like this is also one matter. Shehu hitro mamut Kol Yisrael that Kol Yisrael I guess donated to. Shegorem that caused the Hashrachat Shechina. Shekaruhu Hazal Knesset Yisrael.
I would translate Shis as an elevation. Like we can look on.
This is the matter.
We can look on Google
Translate.
Translate.
This is the one matter that caused Kol Yisrael to be elevated. Shegorem Hashrachat Shechina, Shekaruhu Hazal Knesset Yisrael, that caused the swelling of the Shechina, that resulted in the calling, and that resulted in Chazal calling this entity called Knesset Yisrael. I was learning this morning in the Nesivos Shalom that there's an idea that by everyone giving Machzita Shekel, every single person, no more, no less, it was like this official building. So it's like, it might have existed a little bit beforehand, but that idea of Mishkan only could exist because every single person in Kol Yisrael contributed to it.
Yeah.
So then it was like this Knesset Yisrael, this like entity was established, and it only happened after the Chet.
Right.
And that world of Knesset Yisrael is above Chet v'Pesha v'Chulei. But, yeah. Okay, let's see.
Kol Yisrael shegoyim ashar shechina shekro Chazal Knesset Yisrael. So this is interesting. This resting of the Shechina, the Chazal calls this Knesset Yisrael, which the Lashon of Knesset Yisrael is a sort of gathering as well.
Right, Knesset is
like a base Knesset. It's a
house
gathering.
gathering.
Yeah. So I just want to give some chizuk on this Nakudo. I'm very personally, like if you want to get to know me a little bit, just I know we're learning Chassidus, but part of my journey in Chassidus, one of the things that the Baal Shem Tov very much wanted, and you see in this Torah and this Sfas Emmes, and it connects to my neshama very much, Shorish Neshama, is the idea of Kehila, and it's something I've been searching for in Eretz Yisrael for over 26 years. Coming from London, it wasn't my lifestyle to have a Kehila there. So when I came to Eretz Yisrael, I've been looking for Kehila, and I've been in this is my 10th move, I think. So I've moved and lived in many different places, Beit Shemesh, Beitar, Yerushalayim, many places. First time living in a frat. And I have to say, this has, for me, been the most positive experience of the Kehila in terms of Shirat David and the Machon now. And this is a big praise for me, because my neshama, when I first put tefillin on, I was 18, 19, turning 19, was by my brother-in-law, who I'm going to his simcha tonight, right after mincha, and he hasn't had a simcha for years. So his actually last, thank you. So his last simcha in his family in terms of bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, next will be weddings, please God. His son's also serving Baruch Hashem in the army, and he's my wife's twin brother. So he was the first person to put tefillin on me, and it was Parshat Vayakhel. So I very much connect to this parsha and the concept of Kehila, of unity. My whole brand is Unity Bookings, Marketing, Unity, United Souls. I've written a book about it, bringing people together. And it connects back, if we're learning about Chassidus, as we're seeing in this Torah, the importance of bringing people together. And that was the big push that the Baal Shem Tov made by making chaburas and making...
Right, that's exactly what the Shiva Shalom, I saw this morning, was speaking about, how there's this world of Knesset Yisrael is present when a person, for all Jews, and in that world there is no sin and there is no pesha and there's no chet.
Excellent.
And when you connect yourself to it, then it's much harder for the Sitra Achra to have control over you.
So if you understood that...
So people who connect themselves to chaburas, they have a Shmira Elyona that is higher and more and
you
more
sound
elevated.
Like a true Rebbe, a true chassid.
That's what he was speaking about, and he was speaking about over there.
Klal Gadol b'Chassidus.
So even when you're, and that's why it says, that's why it said earlier. I saw earlier this year.
Everything you just said so beautifully is exactly.
Yeah, it's a big flaw. It's a big flaw. That's one of the
my Rebbe told
me. So that's why you're supposed to share you're supposed to share your tzaras with the Kehila, with the chabura, because then immediately it actually does have a refuah and a right away, because you're elevating it to, and everyone's davening for it, and everyone's like it's like dispersed kind of.
And that's the kind of like the strength of the army that my son had, was that he became a Kehila with his unit. He became like a group. They're in tune with each other. They were helping each other.
You have to be careful, because he says, on the other hand, he says that when people fall to the Sitra Achra, it's when they start raising. I think he uses the language of like tainas, like people start having tainas on the Chabura, on the Kehila. That's the work of the devil. Yeah,
that's
right.
That's
then,
when it's pirud, the separation.
Pirud. That's pirud and tainas. Then and all of a sudden you start thinking, well, maybe it's not like this, not like that.
And it's going to happen again and again. There's going to be all the time. It's trying to make period. I just had an interesting story that happened to me this week. That was in Messiah, in a big group of Chassidus and Chabura that I was working with, helping them spread Emunah and everything else. And suddenly I get all these copyright claims on my YouTube account. And I was like, one of the accounts suddenly gets pulled down. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how can it be? These are like Maminim people. How would they do this to me? I'm trying to share their rabbi's light on my channel as well. It's not just about intellectual property. This is a higher thing. We're trying to share the light of the rabbi. So I was very shocked. I didn't do nothing. I didn't say anything. I just, dove into Hashem, spoke to a few friends to just vent and get it out. Maybe one of those people spoke to them. I don't know what, but suddenly I get reversals. They've all been reversed. And the copyright claims have gone, thank God.
Wow.
Because I was about to lose my main account, which would have been very difficult for me. And Baruch Hashem, that's been reversed. But see, then there's always a test. There was initially I could have come out strong, and maybe that would have ruined the reversal.
Right.
But it reacted straight away.
Right. Yeah. You have to
always got to wait and daven and talk to good people who care about you and them, and make achtas, keep the path of shalom.
Right.
And that's
the big call, right? And like even by Chassidim, like even when the Rebbe's not there, they still get together for Charles.
Even last night I wanted to go in the shir to this guy because he wasn't being respectful to my personal situation, and I didn't. We just went ahead with the shir, and it was amazing.
It was halakha shir.
Yeah, we went ahead, and he kindly spoke it out personally with me, the rabbi here, and that helped. Instead of it becoming like a public display.
Right, because you don't want to damage the churah.
No, we're all together, and we have a bigger mission here for Achdus and Kehila, and Knesset Yisrael, as you said, is a place where there is none of this avera. It's all of Klal Emmes are good. It's just I make kulam tzaddikim. We're just in Golas, so we fall into these traps. We have to help each other get out of it.
Yeah, no, it's a very powerful concept here.
And that's why by Hasidim they have Shalasudis. This week we're having Shalasudis.
Very nice.
That's literally a Vayakhel. We're getting together on Parshat Vayakhel, Ba'achdus, at the holiest time of Shabbos, at Erev, the holiest time of the year, Rabbi the Rabbin of the year, the Mevorachim, the second Adar, and that's Rabbi the Rabbin. We're going to see in a minute about Parshat Shekalim, how it's the Pnimius of the Pnimius, Parshat Shekalim, it's the Rabbi the Rabbin, it's the Kesser, it's the most highest level of the Shorish of the Neshama, the whole Parsha of Shekalim. It's the first of the Dalet Parsha, so it represents the Shorish. It's connected the 4 letters of the Shem Havaya, Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the Shekalim is connected Yud. So this idea of bringing everyone together at such a time is very, very special, and that's what the Rebbe, that's Baal Shem Tov pushed, that there should be gatherings. Shalasudis should be gatherings. Yom Tov, there should be a time to connect to a Rebbe, someone who elevates the Kehila.
The whole Kehila, yeah. It's very powerful. Okay, so here we go. So he says this is what's called Chazal calls things.
Yeah.
Malacha.
Yeah.
The Parsha said 6 days you should do your work.
Yes.
Daled ruchos ulamata.
So there's the 4 directions around you and above and below.
Exactly. Hu bechinat chit asfut. Kol hakochot vehamidot liot heichal lenekuda hapnimiyut shehu Shabbat. He says that you have these 4 ruchot above and below. Hu bechinat hit asfut kol kochot. This is the aspect of the gathering of all the strengths. Vehamidot liot heichal. In this this gathering of all of the strength and the
attributes,
in order to gather, like the
housing, like
the house
to the Nakuda. The Heikel is like a Heikel of the Mishkan.
You're saying it's housing this.
And that's what it's being used in this term, but it actually means a Heikel. We know what a Heikel. We have a Heikel of a shul, a Heikel.
Meaning it houses this concept.
The Mishkan,
V'hu binyan hamishkan mamash, kamash katuv, izeh bayit asher tivnu li v'chud. Okay, so this is the actual building of the Mishkan. Actually,
so we need to write a little note, Maharal again. Yeah, on this whole pasuk. You translate it very
you're saying this idea
is this whole concept is based on the Maharal. It's a famous klal. I've heard it from a Moshe Shapiro, from Talmidim of Moshe Shapiro. The idea that when you have 6 days of the week, you have mala lamata, above and below, and the 4 directions around you. That's the binyan. We have a room we're in right now. And it's 6-dimensional. It's surrounded us. That is the 6 days of the week. That's what we do every week. We build binyan. We work. We do malachas. What are we building? We're building a mishkan, building a place for Hashem Sheini to dwell. What's the point of the building? To have that 7th dimension. That is the Nakuda Pnimius that Shabbos comes within to the Heikel, to that place, and brings the Shekhinah into that building you built, the 6 dimensions. Do you get the concept?
Yeah.
It's a very important Maharal. There's Sheini, which we're not learning about right now. It'll be another time. There's the 8th dimension, but we'll talk about that another time. We're busy right now with the Mishkan and Shabbos. So Mishkan and Shabbos is this binyan that houses Hashem's Shekhinah, that's Shabbos and the Mishkan.
Okay, beautiful. Continues on. He says, "Kachu meitchem."
And sorry, just one more thing. It's based in numerical points of 6 and 7. That's the idea. So that's why it says "Sheis Yomim Taseh Malacha." That's based on the pasuk. Yeah.
He says, "Kachu meitchem truma." Perush Mikoach hashchina haholechet imachem shenikra et shehu kolel otiyot haTorah me'alef ad tet.
Tough, yeah.
Ad tav. So he says, when the pasuk says, "Kachu meitchem truma," take from yourselves this truma.
We had this last time in Truma as well.
It says the explanation is mikoach hashchina. So take from the strength of the Shechina.
Yes.
Hacholechet imachem, that is walking with you guys.
Yes.
Shenikra, is that nikra?
Yes.
Shenikra et shehu kolel otiyot Torah, that is called.
That is
et
called.
shehu is like what is included in the letters of the Torah.
Yes, from Aleph until.
From Aleph ad Taf, meaning the whole alphabet.
Yeah, we bring everything there.
And nekudazot mesayet.
The full shebang, as they say.
Unekudazot mesayet lebnei Yisrael lechol hachafet b'kol lev.
Yeah.
Kemasha katuv.
This is a big Sfas, a big gathering of neshamas, of everything we have, all the things we own, all coming to become with the Sheina, together with the Sheina.
Kemasha katuv kol nadiv libo bevadai yeviea et trumat Hashem k'nizkar la'ayah. Right? He says that unekudazot, in this detail, mesayet,
helps.
It helps.
Yeah.
Bnei Israel, l'kol hachafetz b'kol lev, like in all of the things that they desire, b'kol lev, like in all of their hearts.
Yes.
Kemasha katuv kol nadiv libo.
That's a good point.
As it says,
chayfetz and chafetz is the same shorish, right. Wanting and desires and things,
As it says, all who give over their heart.
Yeah.
Bevadai yeviea et trumat Hashem. That like. Clearly, they will bring this truma to Hashem.
Yeah, so it's helping us to, with the koach Sheina, to be able to bring everything we've got, all our koach, all our heart, all our desires, to Hashem.
Meaning, you might think it's helping Hashem, but really, it's helping us.
Yeah, that's really the shorish of most avodah. Avodah Hashem is for us.
Nachon.
Hashem gets tanug and pleasure from our avodah. He doesn't need it.
He doesn't need it.
We need it.
Right.
It changes us. It brings us, elevates us, brings us closer to our tafkid, our purpose, our tachlis.
B'pasuk v'hamalacha hayita yadam b'chulei v'hoter. So he says in the b'pasuk. So in the pasuk that says v'hamalacha hayita dayam b'chulei. What does that mean?
Hamalacha hayita dayam. It's a pasuk in the Parshat. I'm just going to go and ask someone because I want to make sure that I don't make a mistake.
The work was Dayam.
So I was ask you. It's basically a perish of the pasuk. The quiz that you were saying. Oh, pasuk Malacha hayita dayam. What's that?
Yeah, the lacha was enough, like dying. The hotel and there was extra.
Malach was enough. The dayam is like die.
It's like enough.
Plural, yeah, it was enough.
What's the mem do there?
That's what I was thinking as well. What is the mem?
What's the mem?
Plural?
Dayam.
It was enough for everyone.
Like enough for them.
Dayam was.
Oh, the suffix. Yeah.
Plural.
Like dayam in that case, it's the.
I say
mem.
die all
Dai
the time.
bishvilam, maybe.
Dai bishvilam.
Maybe, I'm not 100% sure.
V'malacha hayita dayam v'chulei v'hoter, and it was.
And there was even extra. They didn't just have
Meaning
enough.
this is when the parsha it's speaking about how they brought so much stuff, and the elders come to Moshe and
So it was
say,
even extra, yeah.
Tell them enough, stop.
Right.
So it's like a plural thing where they need to stop. It's too much.
Okay.
You're just overwhelming.
So he says the pasuk.
The
That's
Mishkan
what the pasuk
with all your
Right.
desire and things.
So that's what the pasuk says, and he says,
It's like with the soldiers at the beginning of the war, they were dressing
right,
up.
too much.
Too much bamba. Yeah.
We don't need socks. We're good. We got enough socks.
Yeah.
The
The Sefer Orach Chaim.
Orach Chaim.
Holy Orach Chaim
Mekasher.
HaKodesh. It's not stam to learn
Orach
Orach Chaim
Chaim.
HaKodesh. People say HaKodesh. It's
Right,
not.
Orach Chaim.
He doesn't say HaKodesh, but he probably would have said it when he said it.
Right.
It's just not written that way. I don't know why.
No, everyone says Orach Chaim HaKodesh. So he says, B'sefer Orach Chaim HaKodesh, Mekasher ki hoter stira lema'amar daya. Yeah.
The Hoter
Daya.
is a steer
He
to
says
what we
that
said.
he has a
It's
kasha
enough.
on it. He says that this v'hamalacha hayita dayam v'chulei v'hoter.
How was
it
that extra if we already said
and
enough?
it was extra.
Yeah.
So the Orach Kodesh
Orach Chaim
says,
HaKodesh is a steer.
how could you tell me it's hoter? That would be a stira to what you just said, which is that it was enough. Achein behakdim ma shekatuv marabim ha'am lavi v'chulei. So he says, therefore, we have to look earlier
Yeah.
what was written when
Very
the pasuk
good.
said merabim ha'am havi v'chulei, that the masses of the nation brought all these things. Nireh, we see ki haviu hachamim osei hamalacha ki haba'at hatruma haya yoter mekafi mikbei
Kavina Divas Halev.
divas halev.
According to the amount of generous heart. So the point is that they
We
yeah.
see ki haviu hachamim, that when the
understand
Chachamim
and
brought
Chachamim.
things, or the Chachamim understood osei hamalacha, when they did the work ki havata
and when they brought the truma,
truma, when they brought this truma haya yoter mikafei nidav halav.
there was
Like,
more than
there was
needed
more.
according to the generosity of the heart, because that was the spirit that they came with, the Divas Halev, which means they were
Right.
like overflowing with wanting to give and give and give, like we said at the beginning of the
Right,
war.
people were like completely prepared
Yeah.
to give everything.
Yeah, that's what was happening
V'lachein
here as well. In Eretz Yisrael.
ha'avir
Moshe
Moshe Rabbeinu alav hashalom
Yes,
shelo yasifu lavi'od. So therefore,
you have to tell them. Yeah.
ha'avir is like came to say, something like that.
Let's get an exact translation.
V'lachein ha'avir.
I think it passes.
Moshe
It
Rabbeinu
means
alav
passes,
hashalom.
but I want to just make 100%
I think
sure.
like passes over, like over
Yeah.
is to pass over. So avir is like he passed over. Moshe Rabbeinu
Transferred, yeah.
transfer, yeah. V'lachein transferred Moshe Rabbeinu shelo yosifu lavi'od.
Pass, convey.
I think convey. That's the perfect word.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He conveyed the message which no other rabbi ever in the history of the world has ever had to say, which is don't bring anything else.
No, there have been.
Maybe twice.
Yeah, there has been. No, there has been situations, thank God, where people have overwhelmed, like different fundraisers. I've seen it with my own eyes. I've even been involved, where they suddenly go way past the original goal.
Okay, right.
Emmes are amazing. Baruch Hashem.
Ki hakol achar nidbat halev hu ba v'tov me'at b'kavana v'chulei. So he says that all of it, achar nidbat halev, like, because all of it after the giving,
Generosity to the heart.
the generosity of the heart, hu ba, like he came, v'tov me'at b'kavana v'chulei.
Yeah.
And it was a little bit
With Kavana.
with kavana v'chulei.
It's a very important concept that the Hashem wants us to do a lot, but a little bit with Kavana. He doesn't expect us to always have Kavana. The main thing, we had so much Kavana at that point, because in terms of the Divas Halev.
Meaning he's saying he wanted all of it to be with kavana. Meaning he felt that
Yeah,
the
it was getting
level
too
that they
much.
were bringing couldn't be sustained with kavana.
Exactly, it was just
that what you're saying?
overwhelming, which in a way you can relate to with the war. It was a sort of like overwhelming need to give,
Nachon.
but it wasn't exactly what people needed. You know, the soldiers were like, wait a minute, we don't need this much bamba. Like,
Right.
we need actual army registered equipment to be able to fight this war. We need specific, kinds of foods.
Right.
And that's what happened slowly afterwards. It started to adjust to very specific needs, not just this, emptying out shops in the army areas. It was, which was amazing what they did, but it wasn't. The army got
Oh,
to
it's
the
not what
point.
they needed, yeah.
They need to refine the giving to exactly what was needed.
V'lechein mul zot Hagid lanu hakatuv shelo ya'ale al hadat ki lo haviu benid vat halev
Yeah.
hanedava hatzricha.
Oh,
So he says, therefore,
opposite this.
Hagid lanu, it tells us hakatuv in the pasuk, shelo ya'ale al hadat ki lo haviu benedivat halev. Meaning it didn't go up on their mind because they didn't give it from the heart.
Nedava sricha. That's the hardest thing to do. You have to learn to give what's needed.
Giving what was needed.
That's the point. And same with marriage. You can be a shevdika husband, but if you're just pouring out all kinds of presents and gifts, but that's not what she really needs. You have to find out what she needs. That's a big clout in giving. What does the person need?
And therefore it said, Hamalacha Kilomar ma shenikra malacha be'emet hayita dayam. Right? So he says, and therefore it said about this service, Kilomar ma shenikra, as it said what is written, what it's
Shenikra malacha be'emes.
malacha be'emet hayita.
But it was enough.
Dayam. Like that malacha really was enough.
It did enough.
V'nochal omar gam kein perush dayam al hameviim ki haviu b'kol libam v'dai zchutam bezot v'hoter ma shahayu merabim lavi k'nizkar la'el. So he says v'nochal omar gam kein. It was possible to also say the explanation of dayam al hameviam, that like it was enough what they had brought, because they had brought all of this, because they had brought this with their whole heart, v'dai zchutam bezot, and it was enough their merit in this.
Very good.
V'hoter ma shahayu merabim lavi, and then the extra was what they were increasing to bring.
Yeah.
Kana'al, as is referenced above. Zev v'haya hamutar, and this is what was extra. We've
had this a few times. Mokam acher. We wrote in a different way. So you can explain this a bit more. This needs more discussion about this whole bringing abundance beyond what they were needed to. But it bottom line is definitely a praise, a shevach. What they brought.
Okay, very nice.
So that is very now appropriate because we're talking about Vayakhel to now shift to Shekalim. Because it's literally what they were. The Shekalim is also, but the difference though with Shekalim is you see it says very specific giving. It's not abundant. Yeah, you're going to see now. Yeah, no, very specific amount. Don't add. Don't give less. Give a very specific amount. It's
where is it?
It's Taf Reish Lamed Hey in Parshat Shekalim.
What's the name of the page number?
Go a bit further back because I don't know if we have the same page number.
When did it start this year? Would have been after.
Not that far back.
Would have been before, after.
It's just after Mishpatim. Oh, it wasn't.
No, it's before.
Yeah, before Trim.
Parshat Shekalim.
Taf Reish Lamed Hey.
Taf
A little bit.
Lamed Hey. There we go.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, here we go. Hakdamat hakehila.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hakdamat Kehila Lemitzvot Shabbat Ki Shabbat Hu HaMa'aseh Kol Anivraim Lehashivan Leshorashan Vezet Halui Vehit Asfut B'nei Israel Levatel Atzman LaHashem Ishtabach Mochein Vatlin Kol Nivraim Alav Yitbarach.
Yes.
So he says Hakdamat Hakehila Lemitzvot Shabbat. So he says the first Hakdamat is like the introduction. But
right.
Like it could also mean like I guess like the beginning. The introduction of Kehila is the mitzvah of Shabbat. Meaning the introductory commandment of a Kehila is Shabbos.
Right, and that fits what we just learned.
Right?
Vayakhel, very similar.
Ki Shabbatu hama'asaf kol nivraim lehashivan l'shorasham. Meaning that Shabbat gathers all of the nivraim lehashivan, the creators.
The creation to return to its
all the
shorish.
creation to return to its roots.
To its roots. This is a big thing with what the Baal Shem Tov we mentioned before. It wasn't just bringing people together, but this is the next step. It's to bring them back to their root. So that they're no longer like, imagine during the week you're like Bimbalbu and there's Olam period it's called, the world of separation. Come Shabbos, there's an achdus going on, a unification, and you're bringing back to your root. Reminding yourself, I'm a chassid, I'm a Sephardi Yid, I'm a whatever I am, but I'm back to that, and not just back to, the hustle and bustle of the world. Yeah.
V'zet halui b'hit'asvut b'nei Yisrael levatel atzma. And this is dependent on the gathering together, the gathering together of b'nei Yisrael to cancel themselves to Hashem Yisrael from Elokein. Mit vatlin kol hanivraim alav yitbarach.
Beautiful.
Similar to canceling all of
nullifying. Nullifying is the right word. It's because we're not into cancel culture. We want to nullify. Yeah.
Nullifying.
Bittul yesh. Get rid of the ego, and everyone should come together and become joined to Hashem. Become, and that's the truth anyway. In the end, Hashem is the true yesh, and we're the ayin. I'm revealing that truth in reality.
נכון. ואיתה כי קודם חטא העגל. ואיתה כי קודם חטא העגל.
As it's brought, that before the sin.
That before the sin, העגל נאמר לבני ישראל גם כן מצוות שבת.
Yes. We also had Shabbos, yeah? Before the sin of the eagle.
But then he comes back and says it again after the sin.
Yeah. Because remember, now we're in between two times. We already had Truma about the Mishkan.
Right. The chronology here at the end is a little.
But there is still something to the order, because the fact that we had the Mishkan and everyone came together, and then we did the Egel Azav, which is the opposite of that.
Right.
It's everyone not together. Everyone's like, and then we have to go kill the Erev and everything. It's all heading the other way. And then comes again. It has to come again to bring back this Nakuda. Chodesh Vayakhel.
ונראה שכוח חטא בא על ידי הקדמת עמלק הרשע.
Which is great for Purim time, got to talk about this.
וכל הקלקולים שנעשו בישראל היו ממנו במחשמו.
Very good.
So he says, ונראה שכוח חטא בא על ידי הקדמת עמלק, meaning that we see that all of the sins that came to Am Yisrael, הקדמת עמלק הרשע, like its foundation.
It's preceded. Hakdamat. The
Hakdamat, you're saying is
preceded. Like introduced with the. How did the sin come about? Because Amalek's around, yeah? That's what they do.
It preceded Amalek.
No, Amalek preceded the sin.
Like meaning Amalek preceded the sin. Anytime we see sin, we see that Amalek was kind of like scheming in the back. So
you want to, my dad always said,
his curses to.
I'm just joking a little bit, but I'm just making a little chassidish. My dad's a chassidish neshama, b'shor Hashem. Just how he is. And he said this once. He came to Shiva by David Gottlieb. You remember David Gottlieb? He's a Shiva of Samech, very big doctor, chassid of the Boston Rebbe. So I was by him 26 years ago. That's how old I am, in terms of the Shiva world. And I was sitting in his shir, and I brought my dad along. And what did my dad come out of the shir? Typical rabbi. I said, "Why? What's the problem?" He said, "They're always blaming our downfalls, our problems on people." Yeah, that's what he came out of the shir.
Meaning, because he says, Amalek,
Erev Rav, the Egel Azav, it was the Amalek was always there. But we're not learning it in that sense. We're learning it to understand that their presence is what allows room for Am Yisrael, who are, like you said, Knesset Yisrael, are in the realm of tshuva and purity and doesn't have connection to all this. So how do we then fall into chet? How does it happen?
So he says, "Ki bevada yesh b'klaliyut Yisrael anashim pshutim gam ken." Because they also, it's clear that explicitly within the generality of Israel, there were obviously simple people as well. V'kol tikunam haya am Yisrael habitul lekal Yisrael.
Yes.
Or all yedei habitul lekal Yisrael. So all of their tikunam, meaning all of their fixings, is only possible via canceling themselves to Kal Yisrael.
Very good.
These simple people.
Yeah, because remember the Baal Shem, this is another big cloud. I know we need to learn this,
We're good.
but I just want to bring klalim of Chassidus, where this is Shoresh then. The concept of
this is the idea that like the schlepper can still be connected.
Perfect. You already know a lot of the klalim. The idea that Pashta Yidden, the Baal Shem Tov's vote was what you just said, to bring everyone. And because that was the if you've learned from Shlomo in terms of historic, I don't know if he's gone into it because it sounds like he's done a lot of historical analysis about Israel. So there was a certain time period there was elite Talmid Chachamim like the Mitzianim.
Right. So if you're not
part of the big Lamdanim, then you're sort of a nebuch,
Right.
Schlepper. So what comes out of Chassidus? No. Kehila.
If you join
Pashutim,
Kehila,
Anshe Pashutim can become the mikveh yid. We need him. Well, I can't go. The tzaddik can't go to the mikveh. The rebbe can't go to the mikveh unless there's a Pashta yid making sure it's ready. Yeah, and the Pashta yid makes sure the Shabbos is considered. He pays for it, and all the Pashta yid start becoming choshev in their hishtapfus, in their partnership with the Kehila. And the fact that they're bottled to Hashem, then it gets rid of the chait. Yeah.
כאשר בא להילחם והיו מוכרחים הצדיקים להפריד מהם ועל ידי זה עושה פירוד בין הדבקים.
So what are these Amalek dudes trying to do? They kind of they come make war with us.
That however, when they came to make war with us, they were forced the tzadikim to separate from them.
They're trying to get us away from the Anashim Peshutim. They don't want us to be Davik with all of Klai Yisrael together to Hashem. They want Anashim Peshutim to be Pored. Yeah, they take these simple guys, and then what happens to those dudes? They have your readers. Yeah, once they're not connected to Tzadikim.
Separation. But amongst the Vekim, like amongst the, I guess,
that's like
is to be close to.
There's a famous Ben Ish Chai vote. I know we're not learning Chassidus, but it's important. I think you relate to Ben Ish Chai. You're from there, no? Originally Baghdad or Tripoli?
Spain, but
Tripoli. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, the Ben Ish Chai was a god for all this one. Yeah, and he said, and I'm so. So he said once the idea, Masa Avas Bonim, how's it go? Evan Masu Bonim Haisa Lavosh Pina. Pasuk in Hala. Evan. What's the Evan? Who are the Evan? The Talmid Chachamim. What happens at the end of the day is Masu Bonim. They become despised to the children, to us. We're no longer Machabed the Talmid Chachamim, the one who built the world. Haisa Lavosh Pina. But the tikkun will be, we'll pick them up again towards to
be the cornerstone.
Yeah, so they'll be the Rav at the front, and we'll have cover to them, and that would be the tikkun that the Anashim Peshutim will not be manifrod from the klal, from the. But it's a test before Mashiach comes. This is going to Amalek's busy making that period. You can see it's like happening all the time. Made separation amongst us instead of us being ba'achdus, and that's what the force out there tries to do. The media, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good. Because
ואף על פי
יש שנקווה כי הצדיקים גברו נגדו. So he says, even though this is the case, שנקווה, that he intends, כי הצדיקים גברו נגדו, that tzadikim will go up against them.
That will Shenichave. We've got a few translations here.
Kavana, no?
I'm not sure. Only translates it as burning. I think you're right.
Even though this is the case, they will intend that
burn. He's saying it's burn. Burning. So we know that Tzadikim are trying to burn this force, yeah? Because that's what happened. They burned the Egel Azav and they fed it to all the Erev Rav.
Right.
Yeah, they literally burned it. So whether it means that or not, but the point is they're fighting this force. The Tzaddikim know that that's what the shorish, the root of the enemy is. It's very important. This is what we're getting here. With Chassidus, it's all about knowing as the Goyim say, know who your enemy is. It's not. Don't think it's the enemy is the Democrats. Think the Republicans are the Democrats. There's an enemy beneath that. There's some sort of negative elite force trying to ruin the world, and we have to figure out who the shorish is. Now we don't have to get all conspiracious or whatever the word is. We can stay with Yiddishkeit, and through Yiddishkeit, through Torah, we understand there's a force called Amalek. That's the shorish. And it's taking people away from Achdus, from Bittul to Hashem. It's taking away from these true values. So we get to the Shorish. Who are going to help us do that? The Tzaddikim. They're the ones who have the power to fight this for us. With us.
Hefsek hit afsut b'nei Israel k'nizkar el. But then Israel stopped gathering together, as was mentioned above.
Yeah.
וזה עצמו היה גם כן בחית העגל שהוכרחו הצדיקים להיפרד כנזכר, meaning that it says וזה עצמו היה גם כן בחית העגל, meaning that this also happened like itself during חית העגל שהוכרחו הצדיקים, that like the tzadikim were forced להפריד, like to separate.
Yeah. I mean, that's Moshe Rabbeinu literally made his own moed outside the Malkana. Not good. We wanted it amongst us, where he had to separate now. Wear a mask, the whole thing, you know? Now Moshe Rabbeinu is gathering everyone together, mechadash, new.
And then after
Start
the
again.
hate, Moshe Rabbeinu gathered them together anew.
Yeah, Hashem brings us Parshat Vayakhel 2024, 5784. Yeah, we're sitting in the end of days during a war in Eretz Yisrael, and comes Shlomo Katz and the Kehila and Shirat David, Rav Shlomo Katz, and he brings us all together, Parshat Vayakhel and the Shalos Sudas. And that's trying to bring Achdus again fresh. Mechadash.
ומצוות שקלים וגם אז הנדבה למשכן. And then we were commanded with this mitzvah of Shekalim.
Yeah.
And then we were volunteering for the Mishkan.
Yes.
זה היה כל תיקון החטא. לכן הקדימו הזו גם עתה שקלים לזכור כי הוא מצווה
Klalis. Beautiful.
כללית.
Yeah.
Because וזה היה
What's the ticket?
that this was this fixing of this sin, and then therefore.
So we've got the Amalek comes, make us sin. Period. What does Chazal come? They also like them. Yeah, they proceed.
And also now the
Shekalim.
This is
Part of the general mitzvahs, and we're together doing this.
Right.
This is getting rid of this.
Right.
Creeper.
And it says in the pasuk, it says in Parshat,
Asher lo
yirbeh, v'adal lo yima'et v'chulei. And it says
Different to what we learned before.
That the wealthy should not increase their donation, and the poor should not lessen their donation. Shemati me
Admor
Zaken
Mori
V'Rabi Zerkanav Rachama.
Very good. That was the Kedusha.
He says ki ha'ashir, because the wealthy sheyesh lo rov nedivut zeh hakoach yitain shelo yirbeh v'chulei. He says that for the wealthy who has a lot, nedivut zeh, like this giving over, this donating, hakoach yitain, that they will have the strength to give shelo yirbeh v'chulei, in order that they should not.
It takes a certain constraint.
Increase, meaning for a wealthy person, they need a certain koach not to over participate.
Because it shows true bittul for them. Because now they're doing the rules.
Right.
They're not doing what they feel like and have ability to do. It's a different kind of giving.
Exactly.
It's very specific.
V'nireh hatam, and we see that the reason kedei sheyevatel atzmo l'chaliyut Yisrael.
Oh.
We see that the reason is in order to cancel oneself for the generality of Israel.
Beautiful.
Sheyada Shema
Perhaps it's knowing that perhaps Shekol.
שידע שמה שכל בני ישראל מתכוונים להיות שווה בנדיבה זו, זה לרצון יותר מנדיבות שלו.
Wow.
Meaning he says that they have to see that the
That's a
reason
big powerful concept.
נראה הטעם, we see that the reason
Yeah.
כדי שיבטל עצמו, in order to cancel themselves, or to nullify themselves, to call Israel,
Yeah.
שידע, in order they should know, שמה שכל בני ישראל מתכוונים, that just like all Israel is connected, להיות שווה בנדיבה זו, in order to
Cool.
be
This is
equal
true
in
equality,
this,
not like the nonsense out
in
there.
this,
Yeah?
in this, what do you call it, donation.
Yes.
זה לרצון יותר מנדיבות שלו, meaning this is the רצון
Imagine teaching that to the
more
world.
than you writing a giant check.
That would change the whole,
right? That's the Ratzon Hashem.
The whole narrative out there. That if people would understand, giving according to Ratzon Hashem is more powerful than any other form of giving. You give the way Hashem wants you to give, that's it. You're tuned into the Knesset Yisrael, you're tuned into the true reason of giving and the true will of Hashem. Instead of what you think you should give. Less, more, rich, poor. That's true equality in this sense. The true level of equality, because it's with Ratzon Hashem.
ונראה שזה עצמו העצה שהדל לא ימעט. And we see that this is really the wisdom or the recommendation, advice, that the poor should not give less.
It's a test for them. They want to give less, and how much?
Give less.
I've had that situation. I don't know if you've ever been really poor, but I have. Yeah, and I'm not embarrassed about it. I had time periods of singing kolo, and I was making babkas, literally nothing. Yeah, like very little money. Yeah, not nothing, but it felt like nothing, and I could just, and you had to move house, you had to pay for babies and nappies, and I had like 4 or 5 kids by that point, maybe more.
What's a nappy? A nappy is a British word.
It's like a
diaper?
Diaper, yeah.
A nappy is a diaper.
Yeah, so you're trying to pay for all these diapers, and you've got 3 or 4 kids, it starts to add up big time, yeah? And all the different ages, it goes up, I think, in price also. And you're feeding them all, and I don't know how we did it. And we're living off miracles. So when you're in such a poverty, when someone comes to you and says, can you give tzedakah now? It's hard. Yeah, and you want to give Shekalim suddenly, comes Pesach, come Purim and Pesach, it's a very expensive time. And you got to figure out, how am I going to pay for Purim, how am I going to pay for Pesach? And Hashem helped every time we needed money, we got. But we have to test this when you're giving the Mechitzas Shekel. And it's connected the minhag of all the neshamas in your house, or giving the paras, Erev Rosh Hashanah, Erev Yom Kippur, and all these times of year we have to keep giving money and spending on daled minim and spending on matzahs, and you're thinking, how can I do it when I'm in poverty? But the answer is, you can't give less, you got to do it somehow.
Right, so it says, right? But that's also the recommendation. She'al yadei shehat sadik mevatel atzmo af shema'asav merubin umishtokek lecharbot umonea al yadei klal Israel. לכן רצון הצדיק מתכנס בכלל ישראל, וזה נותן כוח להדל שיהיה לו גם כן נדיבות זה, כיוון שמניעת נדיבות הצדיק היא בעבור כלל הציבור בישראל. So he says that via the tzaddik, via the hands of the tzaddik, who's mevatel atzmo, who nullifies himself, af shema asav merubin, even though his actions are many, umishtokek lecharbot, and he is mishtokek is like to attend to, or to like
develop, like it's a rotzen, mishtokek is like desires deeply,
it's like a deep desire.
Shtokukus is called in
he has a deep desire to increase umonea and to
longing for,
longing.
Shtokek, laharbot.
He has a desire to, he has a longing to increase umonea. What is monea?
And it's prevented. Why?
Oh yeah, and it's prevented.
How's he prevented? With the Klal Yisrael, because it's not Shekalim.
And he's prevented.
Don't give a lot to
Klal Yisrael. He's prevented.
It's got this tremendous longing, and it's saying not just this amount. Sorry, man. Yeah, I know you're a big tzaddik and you want to give loads, but you're gonna have to just give this.
Therefore, the desire of the tzaddik.
It doesn't just go nowhere. It goes. It goes into the. Suddenly, we all get a boost in our desire to give. Everyone, from this koach of the tzaddik who's mevatel himself,
enters into Klal Yisrael.
Yeah.
V'zenoten koach lehadal, and this is what gives strength to the poor person. Sheyelo gam kein nedivut zeh, that he should also have, be able to give over this thing. Kivan shemenaat nedivut hatzadik.
Yeah.
Shemeniat nedivut. What does that mean? Shemeniat.
And since the manias, the preventation of the kindness of the tzaddik. Where does it go? It passes over to Klal HaSibur. I'll tell you a story. You want to own a house in Eretz Yisrael, brother? This is a chizuk story for everyone.
I just want to understand this last time.
Yeah, please.
Also, this giving over.
The preventing of the giving of the tzaddik.
It prevents the nivud of the tzaddik.
Just as we said, it enters into Klal Yisrael, but it goes ba'avur, passes where? Ba'avur Klal Yisrael.
Klal HaTzibur.
Yeah.
Meaning this is on behalf of the meaning the tzaddik. Is it saying that the tzaddik holds himself back from doing too many mitzvahs and things like that?
No,
it's not saying that the tzaddik is the wealthy person.
No, but he has the rotzen, the will to give endlessly.
Meaning the tzaddik is like the guy in the desert who would have given literally everything he owned for the Mishnah. Literally everything.
Exactly.
Like the tzaddik, that's his desire.
Can I give you a mashal?
Yeah, so give me
that will help. So my father came to Eretz Yisrael and we had a meeting with a tzaddik. His name is Simon Zilberg. He's a Talmud of the Amshanova, originally with Meir Shechter, who we've been learning with Shlomo, and also Talmud originally of the Beis Yisrael, like big Ger Rebbes, and his grandfather was a big Rosh Shiva with Gedaliah from America. Gedaliah was a mashgiach, was a big Rosh Shiva in Torah V'das. He's connected, yeah. And he grew up as a tzaddik, and he is a tzaddik, and I still have some connection with him through his Talmudim, etc. But anyway, he's a tzaddik. So I had discussed to bring my father to him, and there was someone waiting in the waiting room for over an hour from Australia, and he kept that guy waiting an hour, and we came in before him. My dad was like, can't believe that there was people to get into the tzaddik takes a long, big scuss. And we had a proper conversation with him. A few times this happened with my father. And what did the tzaddik do? He generated inside my father a will to give more than my father was willing. That was the main focus of the conversation. After everything's said and done, yeah, as I said at the beginning, who doesn't want a house in Eretz Yisrael? Yeah? You want to own a house, don't rent. If my dad, through my tzaddik, was awakened in him the ability to help me purchase property in Eretz Yisrael. It was the neschus of the tzaddik. And it got to the point even when later on, when I bought this property, I found out that the tzaddik himself had a potential to buy that property, and he heard that I was the one buying it. If he was buying it for his new son-in-law and daughter, he stopped the purchase on his side because he was Kadima, he was first. And he let us buy it because he wanted to allow. He knew it was the biggest thing that my father would enable me to have property in Eretz Yisrael. So he let go of that for property, and we ended up getting it. I mean, the whole story is what happened there. They're all good things, Baruch Hashem. But the tzaddik generated the will in the klal. He has it on a huge level, this rotzen and this shtokikus, this tremendous longing, and it enters into Klal Yisrael and it passes over to Klal Yisrael when he's prevented from manifesting it. If the tzaddik himself, he would have bought me the house. You understand? Mm-hmm. Instead, he enabled it. Someone who has he wanted to enable it, and my father was give a schuss to someone else to awaken that will to give. You see it with tzaddikim all the time. They enable a lot of giving going on in Klal Yisrael. Because they have that longing, that desire, that shtokikus. That's where they're
meaning, and there's a certain contagious element of it.
Yeah, it's contagious. It passes through on an inner level. It enters into the souls of Klal Yisrael to want to give more than they would naturally.
Wow.
we're influenced by the Siddiqim in a good way, in a
Your father's
positive
still
way.
alive?
Thank God. Admei Vesem, he's like coming up to his mid-80s. He's not young.
You saw
Still
him in
plays
the UK
tennis.
when you were there?
Yes, thank God. I mean, my daughter's going there just before Purim.
He's connected to Yiddishkeit or not so much?
I bought him a pair of tefillin. I made a joke yesterday. He was learning about Chol HaMoed. He's knowing not to put tefillin on Chol HaMoed. It's a joke. Get it? Maybe he is putting tefillin on every song because I got him a pair, and he has moments. He moved from Reform to an Orthodox shul, so he's definitely growing his Yiddishkeit. Has it become like full out Shomer Thomas? I don't think so, but not yet. But he's definitely
He's connected. He's a proud
connected.
Jew.
Yeah, there's definitely. He's very proud of my son, and he's fighting for Am Yisrael, and he doesn't get mebalbed from all the things out there. Confusion. He's straight and
He
understands.
visits Israel from time to time?
Not enough. The last time they came was more
Hard for
than a
him to
year.
travel?
My mother a little bit, yeah. My mother's hard for her, but she still managed to get to Spain. And they went on a cruise just now. They just need to. Israel's not such an easy place. They've had some hard moments here, and now with the war, they need it to be made a bit easier for them than us tough already.
I understand.
People that you can understand.
My mom is the same way.
Yeah, it's a bit scary, and the way the Israeli mentality is a bit tough. And
Yeah, I hear.
they're more used to customer service and treating properly.
Customer service.
You understand? So anyway, but the Siddiqim, hopefully, we hope, will mashpia on all of Klal Yisrael to be more givers. And I think that's what happened during the war. Who would you say was Siddiqim in the war? The soldiers. They opened up the doors for giving. The people suddenly became givers at a tremendous level. Because of the Siddiqim in the war. Anyway, I think these two parshas these two Vayakhel Shekalim together are very resonate very strong, and actus in kindness and giving in the right way. And I think we get a lot of chizuk for coming up Shabbos Vayakhel Shekalim to have unity and to come together and to connect. Also in Shalom Bayis, remember to give in the right way, not what you think she needs, give what she needs. Find out what the person actually needs, and that's a big nakuda. And Mr. Shem, which is also a beautiful Shabbos, and to take these klalim from Chassidus and see the benefits of bringing in a Kehila. It's a big blessing, and I just learned now from a sefer from Abel Eger, another sefer from Chassidus, is Torah Emmes, it's right here. And he says there the Mishkan and Shabbos come together to teach us there's unity below, that's the Mishkan, everyone coming together giving, and there's unity above. Shabbos comes every week and gives to us, elevates us. It's both from a Rusa delay,
because the Mishkan is Dira B'Tachtoni.
Very good. And then the Shabbos is the Sheini comes down to us, and Elias Alamis, everything goes up, but it's coming every week no matter what. And that together, Actus Lamal, Actus below, it's good times.
Shkoyach. Thank you, Rebelli. I'm sorry it's not your work, but it's about to come Sunday night.
Yeah, Sunday night it's just easier. But this is still amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
Because closer to Shabbos is also good.